Welcome to the latest episode of No Stipulations. I'm Logan, this is Brendan, and we're here to talk about wrestling. And we are going to try to expedite this process because I'm running on about 9 hours of sleep this week, and Brendan is sick.
Yes, I feel terrible. I'm currently cuddling a trash can like a stuffed animal.
He is making out with that trash can in every sense but literal.
Don't tell me that. I might actually throw up.
I'm sorry. So if at any point Brendan goes very quiet, just know that he is not doing well. But he is he's going to be tough. He got a job. Congratulations.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm very excited. It's a side hustle job writing for a local institution. I'm very happy with it.
Yep. And thankfully, this week of WWE was on some bullshit, so it doesn't seem like we're going to have to worry that hard about what we're talking about. Uh, so I guess I'll just jump right into it. We had SmackDown May 2nd, live from Des Moines, Iowa. I was in Nashville, so I didn't even catch this episode live. I had to watch it half asleep in my bed, in my
This
hotel room.
the same is true for me. I was with my dad in Hammond and we were catching a baseball series, but yeah, it seemed like this episode of SmackDown was really not it because even whenever I was checking on social media, I couldn't find any spoilers. It just seemed like it was setting up the PLE.
Even then, it didn't feel like it did a good job of that. But first segment we had the U.S. title. LA Knight came out to the rah rah about his rematch, how he got screwed like they always do. Priest came out, says if I didn't end the match, you would have eaten a Claymore and lost anyway. Blah blah. Priest says our match is supposed to be later, but let's do it now. Yeah. After that, we had the actual match, which is it went out. It's how these matches usually go. Action went outside. Priest threw Knight in the ring. Solo came out, attacked Damien. Ref saw it. Ding, ding, ding. Solo threw Damien into the barricade. Went inside, spying Knight. Damien grabbed his arm, elbowed him. Fatu came out. Chaos ensues. This whole U.S. title thing is just bizarre.
It feels like it could be so much better.
It feels like it has no purpose.
I second that.
Another thing that didn't have any purpose but actually feels better is Fraxium versus Pretty Deadly, which is the next segment. Prince actually got busted open. Did you see that on social media?
No, I didn't even see that.
Yeah, he got his lip cut open. I think a stiff elbow from Frazier, and he didn't kick out. Frazier actually almost didn't kick out later, but Fraxium still got the win. 2-0 on SmackDown. It feels like they're here to stay on the main roster.
Yeah, and man, they're setting them up with good wins too. They had Los Garza last week and now they got Pretty Deadly, right?
Yep, they had the mid card of um mid card of the SmackDown Tag Division.
But yeah, they should be getting those titles somewhat soon, maybe in one or two more PLEs, maybe SummerSlam.
Those That ladder match still lives in my dreams.
That ladder match was awesome.
No, I mean the full like 5 team ladder match.
Oh yeah. I would still love to have that.
It's not impossible. We had backstage BFAB Michin talking to Nick Aldis. Chelsea recently lost the United States champion. She's in her morning attire. And all this just ends up with Piper Niven facing Zelina for a shot at the title.
That's not gonna happen at Backlash though.
No. Well, she lost,
Didn't think so.
so she's not going to face her, period.
Mm.
Uh, and we had Nia Jax. Yeah, we are definitely not at our best for this episode.
And neither was the WWE.
No, we're going to title this something like the mid episode. if
WWE
anything.
at its worst, at our
Th-
worst.
I don't. This is not WWE. It's worst. Let's be completely
That is
real.
true. That is very true. But under Triple H, the worst you can do was just being mid.
Yeah. Call it the MJF episode. Mid.
That was a pretty funny
Uh,
joke.
thank you. Uh, Nia Jax comes out. She says she's glad to be back. Tiffy's music hit. She talk about how cashing in on Nia, how she beat Charlotte. Then Naomi's music hit. Def Rebel. She comes out to talk about getting screwed by Tiffany repeatedly when Nia was champ. Jade's music hit. Then all hell break loose. All this comes out. Bada bing, bada boom. The stereotypical tag team match is made. I don't know about you, but I'm getting sick of that.
Yeah, it just seems a little
It's
lazy just to have
it
like the feuds combining and just be like, tag match.
right. I don't know. I'm tired of it. I'm tired in general. Brendan cold called me at 9:30 and said, "Dude, I'm sick." I'm like, "Brendan, come on, man." Because we were supposed to record this episode on Wednesday, and your interview was on Thursday, right?
Yeah, my interview was yesterday.
So why did we not do this on Wednesday?
I don't know. I'm not the smartest knife in the drawer.
I get it, because it's the wrong analogy. Um, where the hell was I? We're backstage. Mello's reminding Miz who he is, tells him to go out there and take what he wants. Miz is pumped and ready to beat Aleister Black. He did not. A cartwheel out of a skull crushing finale, which is still too damn long of a finisher name. But the cartwheel was pretty cool, huh?
The cartwheels are pretty cool.
Yeah. Miz nearly rolled up Mello, or Aleister Black after Mello distracted him. Hit Black Mass to Miz, it's all over. And we have a stare down between Black and Mello. That match would cook. That match would cook. Um, we had Ray Phoenix, Santos Escobar. Santos is making fun of Ray for losing in Mania. He says he's the greatest luchador of all time. Ray basically tells him, cut it out. And he says, I'll see you later.
Mm.
We had Piper Niven versus Zelina Vega. Some back and forth, some nonsense like always. Chelsea distracted Zelina. Piper charged like a bull, but Zelina moved and Piper knocked Chelsea off the apron. Zelina rolled her up for the win. That's one thing I don't like about these small wrestlers is they shouldn't just be rolling these big wrestlers up. Have them. This is why you need to have multiple finishers, or a finisher that you don't have to do some absolute BS for.
Yeah, and isn't it supposed to be like them being like the giant killer? Why should they sneak away with a win?
Right. And no, nothing against Piper Niven, but like she's not been booked to be this big, strong monster.
I feel like they kind of fumbled her booking after Clash at the Castle because she was actually pretty hot coming into
Oh
that
yeah,
match.
she was cooking in that match. Well, I think it was also partly because it was in Scotland.
Yeah.
Hard to be. It's hard not to be hot coming out of your home country after a good title match. You gotta really suck to not be hot coming out of that. Where am I in this? Yeah, this is definitely our mid episode.
Yeah, it's okay that we have at least one of these mid episodes. We've been doing this for how many straight episodes?
This is 14. We've done this for 14 weeks by hook, crook, walk, or air.
Yeah, we've been giving our heart, body, and soul to you viewers. So if you like the content, like and subscribe, and leave a comment down below.
And Venmo us for our medical bills that we gotta deal with for you.
I know we currently do not make any money off of this podcast.
No, we're broke.
We could start a Patreon, but that sounds Like, yeah,
That's jumping the gun.
yeah, exactly.
We also have some jumping the gun here. Backstage, Aldis was lambasting Solo and Jacob for their nonsense. He makes it a triple threat match for Backlash between Jacob, Damian, and Priest. Solo's like, wait. Drew is the number one contender. He should have the match. Aldis says, you know what? You're right. Now it's a fatal four way. And he's like, you're screwing him. And Aldis is like, no, you're the one screwing him. So, like, just shut up, Solo. Jacob doesn't care, like, at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
I
mean,
gotta think. I've got to imagine he retains.
oh yeah, he retains even though the competitors in this match are stacked. I think this is really just to solidify Jacob as like one of the top guys moving forward.
God, the backlash card does not look good.
Yeah, it like the show, it looks kind of mid.
Mid, mid.
Ugh.
Uh, had a Randy promo. He says Cena doesn't care. John's been selling his souls for 20 years, and he doesn't actually care what he's saying. Causes a loyalty, respect as a load. It's one of those see you in St. Louis promos. When I see you in the ring, Jonathan.
Man, I didn't even
Uh,
see this get posted online.
the promo or backstage?
Cena.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't there.
Oh, he wasn't on SmackDown?
No, it was
Figures.
just it was Randy in the ring.
Oh,
We had backstage. Randy walked past Truth. Truth is like, Cena's gonna kick your ass. He's gonna be the last champion, and he told me so. He doesn't lie to me. Big Jim comes in, saves his life. I feel
so
like
I saw this meme too. I saw this. Why? And it wasn't even on like Twitter. These were YouTube shorts that I saw these on.
good God,
What the hell?
this episode, especially after we're going to talk about the releases at the end, but especially after the releases, this episode was just not it,
Yeah,
like at
it
all.
was. If we could grade SmackDowns and Raws, what would you give this show?
D plus.
You give it a D plus. I would give it a 4 out of 10.
I think that is a D plus if you grade it like that.
You give it the letter grades, I'll give it the out of tens.
Firstly, and B, SmackDown was mid this week. I'm convinced they're just tanking SmackDown so they can put it on Netflix next year.
You think so?
It's possible. They can get out of their TV deal.
It wouldn't be a bad idea, but man, they've been rolling with USA Network for a long time.
Well, they can Raw.
That's true. They would be getting a lot of money if it was on SmackDown, but it's on SmackDown internationally.
Try again, Brendan.
Hmm.
It's not on SmackDown internationally. It's on what internationally?
It's on Netflix internationally. That's what I meant.
I know it's what you meant, man.
I'm sorry. I'm fucked in the head right now.
Oh, me too. We had Ray Phoenix versus Santos Escobar. As good as these guys are, I don't think anybody cared. Phoenix hit the Adios Amigos. This is what I'm talking about with multiple finishers. You get a Meteora from the top shelf for the win. How often do you see a Meteora get a win? Some wrestlers just need to have those moves that can finish matches because it'll protect your finisher. Oh boy. We had it backstage. Tiffany and Jade saying stay out of each other's way. Jade says, I got a number one contenders match against Naomi next week after I talk to Nick. We had after commercial. Santos was talking down on Los Garza for not helping him. Andrade swoops in. He basically just tells Santos, I don't like you. Santos drags the boys off, and tension is brewing in Legado del Fantasma.
I think Andrade should have been on the Mania card. I think they could have done a tag match or some shit.
Oh god, not again.
I don't know.
As a pivot from Rey Mysterio getting hurt, maybe. I don't know. Speaking of tag matches, Tiffany and Jade versus Naomi and Nia. Nia hit an elbow and a senton on Jade. Excuse me. I don't think I can imagine Nia Jax hitting a swanton.
Oh my god. That I think that would cause internal bleeding to whoever received it.
The sky is falling. Oh
How
God.
would commentary sell that move?
Probably better than the Hurricane Rana. Oh man. Tiffany hit the swanton after. Naomi pulled Tiffany away. Nia splashed them both in the corner. Goes to the Annihilator, but Jade powerbombed her and got the win. Again, not using her finisher to get the win. This is a good thing. This is a good thing in wrestling. You don't have to always use your big special move, especially if they're just going to kick out of it. But that was SmackDown. I didn't even realize that was the end of it.
Yeah,
Mid.
mid down.
Oh God. That just reminded me of Ms. Dow.
Mm. That tag team was pretty underrated. I miss Ms. Dow.
Kept throwing Damian Sandow into shit.
He's been doing good work in the indies right now.
I don't doubt that. It's just funny. They stuck him with Miz. They stuck him with Cody Rhodes. Who else did they stick him with?
He really did like do everything he could
To
to
get
get
over.
over. And it
And
it
just,
did work. Just creative wasn't behind him.
man, when he threw Miz out of the Rumble, he got a pop.
Yeah.
But what didn't really get a pop here, and Monday Night Raw live from Omaha, Nebraska. Jey Uso addresses Logan Paul, tells him to come out. This is not official for Backlash, so I don't think we're gonna get this match.
You don't think we're gonna get Jay versus Logan at Backlash?
I don't think it didn't get made official at the end of this.
I swear it was
There's
made
already fi-
it was made
there's already
official.
there's already 5 matches on the Backlash card. You know Triple H.
We'll see.
He addresses that guy, tells him to come out. Instead, Paul Heyman comes out, and let me tell you, my nuts jumped into my stomach because I thought Paul Heyman was about to introduce Logan Paul.
Oh, I
I
had
was
that small suspicion as well.
I was gonna quit wrestling. I couldn't do it. But thankfully, he just comes out and he does his usual. My name is Paul Heyman. BS. She gets in the ring. Jay says, "How can you stand here after you wronged my family?" Paul crashed out, man.
Yeah.
That was that was
This
hilarious.
one segment was better than everything that happened on SmackDown.
It really was, and that's just sad because it involved Jey Uso. He basically says, "Jay, this is what's about to happen. Seth is gonna win that title. He's gonna win it good. He's gonna win it easy, and I'll face you anytime, any place." And Jay backs him in a corner and says, "Anytime, any place. How about tonight?" So that was later made official.
Yeah, and after that segment, we found out that it was Seth's plan all along to goat Jay into this match tonight, and
Yeah, Paul went into the locker room. He told Seth and Braun, he's like, "He took the bait. I can't believe it." Seth was like, "I don't like saying I told you so, but I told you so." He goes and gets his title. He goes and prepares to get his title back. First time that the World Heavyweight Championship would be defended on Raw in 7 months.
mm,
7 months.
I wish WWE would provide these statistics to us.
They did.
Well, like online. Like I wish we could venture and find these ourselves.
I mean, you could probably just check title defenses.
Yeah, probably.
I don't think Gunther defended it on Raw a single time, which is one of the myriad of problems with his title defense in terms of booking. We had Penta versus JD McDonough. Penta actually basically won a 4v1 with interference from Finn Balor, Carlito, and Chad Gable. Hit the Penta driver for the win. Backstage, Grayson Waller arguing with Adam Pearce about his match. Theory comes in, and Grayson's like, "Here, you can have the match." And Austin Theory has a surprise opponent tonight, and let's just do that right now. His surprise opponent is Sheamus. Why
Yeah,
is this?
the last time we saw him was in the Rumble.
Why is this the first time we've seen him since February?
By the way, this was a. I would like to say that this was a good crowd, but they did not pop at all whenever Sheamus came out.
Not in the slightest, and I believe that is in part due to Def Rebel, but
I know they just need to bring back too many limes.
right. He hit 14 beats of the bodge when Waller wanted none of that. Broke kick for the win. Welcome back, you pale, pasty bastard.
Yes, your IC title is coming very soon.
Gonna be yours, big fella. Oh, that's right. Dominic has that.
Yeah, it might be a while now that I think about it.
I had to think about it for a second. I'm like, who is the IC champion? It's Dominic. That's stupid.
You'll
I
have a
didn't
good
know.
program with him. You'll put him over.
God. Um, Judgment Day locker room. JD's unhappy that he lost. Less happy that Gable got involved. AJ steps in and he called Finn Prince.
Hmm.
Hmm. Basically tells Dom, he's like, I'm excited to get that IC title whenever this is done. Dom, I called him Don. He complains about the workload. He says, Finn, can you take care of it? And Finn was like, you want me to take care of it? Sure, buddy. I got it. So we got Finn Balor versus AJ Styles next week. This should be a good match, but there's going to be interferences that ruin the damn thing. Let them cook. We went backstage. Chad's annoyed that he hurt his nose. New Day comes in. He says that they think the title shots should be American maids. Chad likes that. Becky stomps through. Kofi likes what she did. She thanks him. And I love it when heels are just in their own self contained vortex of self
I
gratification.
was fixing to say that. I love it whenever like the heels, you see them talking backstage and like they're supportive of each other.
Right.
I
It's like,
find
hey,
that like
you
the
evil
best
dickhead.
thing. Like,
I'm an evil
oh, you're
dickhead
so
too.
evil and I love it.
Right. It's silly, but it's one of the
It
things that I
works.
think it makes wrestling charming.
It works. It really
It's
does.
like it's like fan fiction. What do you mean the bad guys all agree with each other?
That need this needs to happen more on shows.
It does. I feel like it does happen more often on Raw, just because the heels always interact one way or another. But I don't know.
I want
I
to
mean, you
say
saw it.
like the last time that something like this happened was whenever Mello told Cody how he felt about KO.
And then Cody shoved him into a wall.
Yeah, that.
Yeah. I don't know. Let everyone talk more, but wrestle better. I don't know. That episode of SmackDown just really didn't have any substance to it.
Road Doggy
It wasn't.
Dog, you
It
are
it
next.
wasn't. It wasn't bad, but it was just
Mid.
not great. At Becky's segment, she says she took out the trash and Bailey. She's going to take out the trash with Lyra and how she made Lyra and all that. Lyra comes out, says she made history herself as women's first IC champion. Becky says everyone in the division had their best year with me gone. Excuse me, Lyra said that. God. Becky says that I think I'm getting sick through the microphone, man.
Yeah, I think whatever's happening, it's transferring from Discord.
It's not good. Becky said everyone did that because she wasn't here to compete with them. Lyra ducks a cheap shot, gets away from the referees, counters a manhandle slam to a Nightwing, which means Becky is winning. And let me stand in my soapbox real quick, Brendan. Those of you out there calling Becky Lynch Becky Hogan, shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
Please.
she's anything but a politician.
That's what I'm saying. They think Hogan means somebody who wins a lot. No, it's somebody who lies and cheats and doesn't play fair and not in the fun Eddie Guerrero way. It's someone who steps on other people to get what they want. I've never heard someone say that about Becky Lynch. It's the same thing with Rhea Ripley. Somebody called Io Sky Hogan. What are we doing?
Unless you know for a fact that somebody's like a Hogan backstage, don't call them a Hogan.
No, you know what it is? It's because they're women, and the IWC hates women.
It's a whole lot of problems. The whole IWC just needs a psychologist.
Well, yeah, I got told to kill myself for calling Brock Lesnar a sex trafficker.
Yeah, I saw that. I was in Hammond and I'm just like, all right, go off, Queen.
Yeah. Brock Lesnar can rot in hell. I never want to see him back. If he comes back, I may quit at wrestling for good. There's another reason I might quit, depending on what they do with this, but we're going to talk about that later. We had Roxanne versus Io Sky. This was a good match. Roxanne keeps losing. That's not great, but she could be losing to worse people.
Yeah, and
She
the
lo-
yeah.
It's not like she got squashed. She's competing in these matches.
It's the
She
typical call up formula. You have them lose to established stars, get them to work, and get them to appear on TV to make uh, a name presence with the fans, and then eventually you put something like Money in the Bank on them, and then they start winning, and then big thing happen, boom, they're champion.
Bazinga. It was a series of pin combos that actually ended it, which is a good thing. Which it's a good finish
I
for both
loved
of them.
that part of the match.
Yeah, I remember that Zack Sabre Jr. quote about uh it's something about technical wrestling in front of Americans is like
It's like reading
dog.
Shakespeare to a dog.
Yeah, that's it. Reading Shakespeare to a dog. That's what it felt like. Because the crowd was not into that finish at all.
Yeah.
But Roxanne, she shook Io's hand. She left. Julia jumped Io from behind. Roxy smiled, came back in. They beat her ass up. If only there was someone healthy on the women's Raw roster that could have come out and save her.
Yeah, Rhea, she was in Australia promoting.
Oh, that's not even
Stephanie
what I'm
was
talking about.
NXT.
That's not even what I'm talking about.
What are you talking about then?
Her friend who was let go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that later.
Yeah, we'll do that, and then I think we'll also do the backlash predictions at the end of the show.
I gotta pull up the card for that, but yeah. We had Rusev versus Otis. Otis actually looked pretty strong in this match. I like that. Rusev was nuts and still shockingly athletic for his size. He got the win off the accolade.
The
He
spinning
wouldn't
heel
let
kick was
go.
crazy.
It was. He got up there. He wouldn't let go after the bell, and Tozawa backed him off and rips his shirt off and says, right here, right now. Rusev ran away. He does not want the power of Tozawa in a fair fight because he jumped him when his back was turned. He does not want that action. Oh, God. The things I have to find to make this entertaining in any capacity
Yeah.
is just tragic.
But he ran back to the ring when Tozawa's back was turned, and did he put him in the Acolyte?
I think he just power bombed him and put it on Otis again.
But there was this amazing sequence to where Rusev ripped Otis's shirt off, and he still had his shirt in his hand whenever he was doing the Acolyte. I thought he was gonna like gag him with his shirt.
Maybe that was the plan and he just whiffed. Either way, we had Gunther and Pat McAfee face to face. Okay, sure. I'm just gonna roll with this.
I,
Crowd was
I'm I'm
chanting.
just gonna like sit back and enjoy the ride.
Yeah, I don't know how enjoyable it's gonna be.
I don't know. He's been cutting good promos and like, all right, this is gonna be a spectacle. You know what I mean? Type
It's gonna
thing.
be something. That's for sure.
I think this is gonna be a way to either write Pat off of TV so that he can do college football again, or it's
Gonna
gonna be a
bury
way to
Big
introduce
Gunt even
somebody
further.
to face at SummerSlam, or it's gonna be a squash, something.
Bill Goldberg.
Gunther better go over. That's all I'm gonna say.
God. Crowd was chanting the big gun. He said, "You tapped out." And he says, "Shut up. I'll get to that later." Says, "Pat, I've dedicated 28 years of my life to this business." Or something. Some number like that. High number. In the 20s. Pat actually put the Cornhuskers over. That's one thing you can't not say about Pat McAfee on commentary is that he's not gonna not put you over. If that's his job, he's gonna call you.
He's been putting
He's
Cole
gonna
over like crazy, and
as he
it's
should.
deserved.
Michael Cole is gonna be in the Hall of Fame by next year, hopefully. He deserves
Hopefully,
it.
whenever he reaches like a certain like year mark or whatever, like 30 years in the business, hopefully he just gets that automatic Hall of Fame induction. I mean, he deserves it like right now, if we're being
He's
honest.
been with the company since 1997. 30 will be the two classes from now. I would not be surprised to see him headline the Hall of Fame class for Mania 43.
They need to surprise him on commentary with it.
They do. They should not do that backstage. They should do that live on commentary. But yeah, Pat actually cut a good promo. An
He's
impassioned.
surprisingly good.
Yeah, he's a character, but he's good on the mic. You know, one thing I like about him compared to he who shall not be named is that he actually you can tell he loves wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the things that that guy doesn't have. Pat actually loves wrestling. Not sure how much I love him loving wrestling, but he's a fan of it.
It's
He's an actual fan.
hard to be angry at somebody who clearly loves the business.
Right. It's unless they've done some effed up shit, like a la Vince.
I don't even think Vince loved the business.
No, I think he did love the business. He's
At
just
one
a
point, he
complete
loved
and
the business.
he's just a psychopath. Um, yeah, he was like, "Gunther, this is just a job for you. I'm excited to be here. I'm jacked up on life. You're complacent and soft." And Gunther asks back, he said, "Did you enjoy your daughter's birthday on Saturday?" That is a horrifying start to the sentence.
Yeah.
It's like, "Did you enjoy your last Saturday? Because it's the last one you're going to see, bucko." And Pat nodded at that. He's like, "Of course I did. I didn't know he had a kid, but
He's got a kid.
oh, thanks, I didn't know." Uh, Gunther says something to this effect. He says, "For me, Saturday is a very special day for me. And Pat, you got me in the right mood for it. It's my first match since WrestleMania. I will be sharp and more focused than ever before. I promise. You will have my full and undivided attention in the ring. That bell will ring on Saturday, and I will beat you up." Bless me. "I will maul you. I will drive your head into the mat. I will choke you out until you drop like a wet towel. By my grace, you're untouchable. On Saturday, only the grace of God can lift my arms from your throat." Whoa, Nelly. Why did he lose to Jay? Why did he lose to Jay Uso? Who did that benefit? Honestly. I just. What the hell was that?
That was what?
I just heard a thump.
That I think that was my phone.
Oh. We had Seth Rollins versus Jey Uso in the main event. Shockingly good for Jay's first title defense. And nothing against Jay, but I think a lot of that was just Seth. Seth is really good at giving wrestlers their best matches. Which is why I'll always think he should have been the number one guy. But, whatever, right? Braun interfered, that didn't end things. Sammy came out, threw Braun into the ring post, took him out for a second. Braun cut Sammy in half with a spear, and he hid. I was recording this live because I thought something insane was about to happen. And I was like, why is he hiding? Sammy's not in the match. That wouldn't cause a DQ. But Seth threw Jay out of the ring. Braun killed him again, which is why he was hiding. Oh, it was a finisher fest at the end. Spear countered it into a pedigree, a stomp, a kick out, spear and a kick out, frog splash, kick out. Seth hit another curb stomp after Braun speared Jay, and you got to think that's it. But then CM Punk's music hits. He's out here with his steel chair, wails on Braun before he goes in the ring and wails on Seth. Match is over there, and that's Monday Night Raw. And I don't think the referee ever rang the bell.
I'm not sure if he did, but this was a lot better than the proposed idea of some people in the IWC of Logan Paul just interfering with the match.
I didn't want it to happen, but I thought that was what was gonna happen.
I was pleasantly surprised by the main event.
I was grateful that it's
Yes.
not what happened. Maybe they'll just drop that program altogether.
That would be nice.
Fingers crossed. But we're making good time here. NXT May 6th live from Orlando in the Performance Center. Start off with Hank and Tank versus Dark State. Had Osiris Griffin, who cut his finger open again. And he keeps tweeting out like, I'm gonna get this thing restitched every time if I have to. Got Cutler James, Dion Lennox for Dark State. The end, Hendry lined up for the standing O. Trick came out, pulled him out of the ring, and they fought. Dark State cut down Tank, hit him with that catch and release power bomb. I'm gonna call that the hook, line, and sinker. I think that's a good name. I think I'm good at naming these things. Hook, line, and sinker.
That's a good name.
Did you see when Joe was doing the fall away slams and Hank got pushed into him? He was about to hit him, and Hank was like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa!"
I did see that. I did see that.
That was funny. I don't get why people hate Joe Hendry. He's fun. He's worked hard his whole life, and he cares. Cares about making stuff fun,
My dad loves Joe Hendry.
as he should. If we ever get Joe Hendry on this podcast, I'm gonna cry tears of joy. I'll say his name. He appears.
One can hope.
I believe in Joe Hendry. Go to the locker room. Thea Hale tells Carmen, chin up after her breakup, because that's what you want to tell someone after she dumped her boyfriend. Look alive, kid. It'll get better. Like, if I broke up with my girlfriend and my dad came into my room and he's like, lock the fuck in, I might punch him. Because what are you talking about? Jada comes in. She calls Thea a chihuahua. She told Carmen to dump Ashanti months ago, called her soft. Carmen says she choked at S&D. Jada says, I'll see you in the ring. We go backstage. Charlie was telling Miles and Tavion about how tonight's putting NQCC one step closer to glory by winning this battle royal, and one of them one way or another. Ren asks Miles, did you hear that? Because he's deaf. Get it?
Hmm.
Crickets. We had Kalani Jordan versus Zarya. This may have been, I say this in not a bad connotation at all. I'm thrilled. This may have been the gayest match I've ever seen. There was so much lesbian energy shooting around in this match. Zarya is actually unbeaten in singles competition. Kalani was in control most of the match. Zarya speared her, but she kicked out. After action went inside, Soul actually caught Zarya on a moonsault off the apron. She held her there, and they just had that awkward stare down. Zarya speared her through the barricade. She's jealous. She's jealous of her girl giving another girl attention. Wrestling is homoerotic, and I love it. Let them kiss, you cowards. Sean, I read a tweet that said Sean is living his fantasy booking from when he and Hunter were in DX way back when. Just making it as gay as possible. I love it. I love it, Sean. NXT should be gayer, if anything. But Zarya hit the F5 for the win. I love her F5 because it's backwards, and I've had this debate. Go to the locker room. Tony D'Angelo back there. Wes TNT walk in. Wes complimented Stacks for his turn, and he says he'd turn heel again too. He shouldn't. He lost all of. I'm not one of these guys to play the aura card, but he lost all of his aura when he turned heel. Tony calls Wes out, and it seems to me that the match is going to happen next week. It was later confirmed that it would happen next week. Um, Backstage again, Lola and Stephanie are talking in Spanish. I didn't catch much of it, but I heard, I think Stephanie say difícil, which is difficult. How difficult it is. They're still doing their thing. Lola says she's going to be waiting for her match. Julia walks in and says, I'll see you at Battleground. We had the 25-man Battle Royal. Trick enters first. We had people from TNA, NXT, LFG, MIA, TLDR, all that bullshit, and Evolve. Zachary Wentz is back as well. I don't think you were around to catch him versus Wesley back in October and November.
Um, Name rings a bell, but I'm not sure.
Go watch their match at No Mercy. Zach Wentz's UFO cutter may be the sickest finisher in the game. I'll tell you whose name should ring a bell. TNA's Elijah enters last.
Yeah, that was a pleasant
Form-
surprise.
Formerly known as Elias, playing a tune about his entrance. I know Kevin is hurt, but I want him to come back and just crash out
Hmm.
on the third E brother. Because it's Elias, Ezekiel, and Elijah. Ethan slid out of the ring, and they started going at it before the match even began. This whole thing was just a clusterfuck. This is some important story bits, I guess. Miles was the last of the NQCC. Inamura actually eliminated Briggs. Joe Hendry's music hit during the final 7. Elijah eliminated Trick during the distraction. Trick and Joe brawled. Spears eliminated Elijah. Sean Legacy from Evolve was cooking, dude. That guy was on fire. So was Javon Evans, but that's just a general given with Javon Evans. He was cooking on Twitter yesterday too. I don't know if you saw
I
that.
saw that. That was hilarious.
Him and Richard O'Shea were going at it. Our final 4 were Ethan Page, Miles Bourne, Sean Spears, and Javon Evans. Crowd was chanting "Baby Randy" at Miles. Uh, they caught Jesus. Spears and Page caught Javon on a cutter and tossed him out. That kid can. That kid is not even just bouncy. He's like spring loaded. He should not be able to jump as far as he does. Miles actually drop kicked Ethan into Sean Spears, and he's going to Battleground for the NXT title match. Which, wow. All right, sure. Let's do this. We had a backstage interview with Jordan. She comes out. She says she's going to win. Izzy Dame comes in. She says she's bigger, which is like a literal fact. Like, that's a factual statement. I think Jordan is 5'2", and Izzy Dame. Let's see. Izzy Dame is 5'10". So excuse me, Jordan Grace is 5'3". She is 7 inches taller. And then Lash Legend comes in. she, she was a she's a former women's basketball player. So she's definitely taller. Let's see. 6 foot on the dot. And she was probably wearing heels, so that didn't help.
Yeah.
But happy belated birthday to her. It was her birthday during this episode. She says her piece. Jordan says once she wins, she'll see both of them at the other end of this thing. We had Jada Parker versus Carmen Petrovich. Jada controlled the match the whole time, got the win. She beat on Carmen after the match. Thea Hale actually jumped in the way and ate a hypnotic for Carmen. Wonder where that whole thing is going. GM's office, Ava says, Joe Hendry, we need to figure this thing out. And she spoke to Santino, and there's a match at Battleground between Joe Hendry and Trick Willie for the TNA World title. First time a TNA championship is going to be defended on an NXT PLE. Intriguing. We had a vignette from OTM, Out the Mud. They were with Jada Parker for their recent run. I'm sure they still be with her. They obviously have their eyes on the title. That's what that vignette was basically about. It's like, we see the division, we have our eyes on the title. That's how every returning tag team's promo ends up. Oh, we're backstage again. Wes is on the phone. He says everyone has a price, and it seems like he's made a call for something. Then Inamura's going to leave the stadium. He apologizes for costing Briggs, and he's going back to Japan tonight. We'll miss you, Inamura. Your NXT run was very entertaining. We're glad to have you. He gives his jacket back to Briggs too. And Brooks Jensen comes from behind with the calling. He's like, I've seen that face before. Because I don't know if you know this, Brendan, but Brooks and Briggs used to be partners.
Really?
Yeah. This was well before Brooks joined the culling. There's actually a storyline where he became alcoholic and belligerent on Twitter.
What?
That's that's a real thing that happened. This was back in the summer, I think. Um, but he says, "Hey man, you might actually be the problem." And then Miles was celebrating with the NQCC. Time to get serious. Chuck says, "All right, guys, it's time to help me prepare for the title match." Everyone looks at him like, "What the hell are you talking about?" And he says, "I should have the match for the good of the group." And Oba slow claps. He says he'll see Miles there. And Charlie was like, "Well, actually, no, Oba, you're gonna face." And then Miles cuts him off. He's like, "No, yeah, I won that. I'm gonna face him. I'll see you there." Uh, he actually says, "Charlie, you can face Oba next week. Show him how it's done. Maybe if you beat him, it'll be a triple threat." And Oba says, "I am done with triple threats. I'll see you next week." For being deaf, Miles Bourne is funny. He's funny on the mic. And I guess that's a silly statement to say, but he's a good promo for not being able to hear. I don't know if that makes any sense. Chase U vignette. Kale and Uriah got him new gear to replace the sweater. And Andre was like, "But people know the sweater. People like the sweater. People expect the sweater." Andre tries it all on. He's in a Chase U tracksuit. And Andre is kind of rocking with it. And then we head to our main event. Julia versus Jordan Grace. And I've said it once, I'll say it again. The women in NXT are so unbelievably good. Did did you see the clip of Julia eating a Michinoku driver that looked like she landed on her neck? And
Yes,
then it
that was
and then it
scary.
and
That
then
was
it
really
cuts to
scary.
and it cuts to the commentary desk and all three guys have their hands on their head. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see the cut to commentary, but that was a really scary landing.
I think it was, but if you've seen some Julia matches, that's just Tuesday for her. When they study her brain in 60 years, they're gonna shut wrestling down. She got rocked and she literally was like, "All right, I'm gonna hit my head to feel better." She hit her head to feel better. Oh god. Excuse me. Jordan kicked out of a Michinoku driver later in the match too. And those counters, power, insane feats. Jordan actually full on, like, I don't even know what to call this. She had Julia in a tombstone position and like suplexed her from that. I don't know what the hell to call that. She hit the Juggernaut driver and a 1, 2, 3. We're getting Jordan Grace versus Stephanie Vicaire. Battleground. That, ladies, gentlemen, our non binary friends, and every other gender that there is out there, is NXT. And that's basically the week of WWE television. But now we're going to talk about the releases. They released Caden Carter and Katana Chance.
They
The
also released.
the only women's tag, the only like actual women's tag team that's healthy right now.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
The two that really shocked me were Braun Strowman and Dakota Kai, along with some uh developmental people.
Yeah. Dakota Kai was a very big surprise. I don't know why they did that. I don't know. Braun Strowman, I guess I understand. I read a rumor that he's like signing a different contract so he can show up once every few months instead, but that might just be a rumor. But he posted on social media, he's like, I might just retire here. I was like, if that is it, Braun, Adam, congratulations and thank you for everything, man.
Yeah. To the young talent that got released, um, don't
I don't know why you're watching this podcast,
yeah,
but
I don't know
thank
why
you.
you're watching for one, but this is ultimately a chance to make a name for yourself somewhere else and come back a bigger star than when you left.
You don't even have to come back. You can stay there and be a big star.
Yeah, exactly.
For the Cora Jade, Eddie Thorpe, Riley Osborne, Gallus, Oro Mensa, Javier Bernal, and Jakara Jackson shocked me in NXT.
That was also a big one.
That is very surprising. And I get, you know what? It shouldn't surprise me as much considering they broke up Metaphor like the week before. But also, like, what? Why are we releasing Jakara Jackson and Nikita Lyons still has a job? What are we doing? What are we doing, man? They're also letting Shotzi's contract expire. So rather than releasing her, they're just not going to re sign her.
Yeah. Didn't Gigi also get released?
Oh, did I skip? Yeah, her and Shayna. I skipped over them on accident. Poor Tatum Paxley, dude. She got left alone again. She got left when Lyra went up to the main roster, and now her friends are being let go. Absurd. Now, from what I've read, what I'm about to talk about isn't brand new contracts to come be on WWE TV. These are just you were under the AAA umbrella, now you're under the WWE umbrella. Let's just make sure the paperwork is good. And that better be what it is, because I don't want to see this guy on TV ever. Why the hell did they sign Alberto Del Rio?
I think it's just because they bought AAA and they took on his contract.
That's what I'm hoping. I read somewhere that they're going to have him drop the title, let his contract run, and we're never going to see him. And that better be the case. They also signed Io de Dr. Wagner, which is, I don't even know what that name means. It's son of Dr. Wagner. I know that much. We had Io del Vikingo, La Parca, Lady Flammer, Lady Maravilla, Nino Hamburguesa, and La Hiedra, whom Stephanie Vicaire has a restraining order on for, like, being close with the guy who tried to kill her. Thankfully, they did not try to sign that guy. My God. This is not a good PR move. In a few weeks, in a couple of, like a series of holy crap, find the words. In a series of bad PR weeks for WWE, they somehow managed to keep fucking up. It's not a good look. Just, I don't know. But what are your thoughts, Brandon?
I mean, the acquisition of AAA should be exciting, but hopefully they retain only the right people.
Yeah. Actually, wait, hang on. No, never mind. I was looking at a page for Backlash. I thought we had 6 matches, but it was just the preview card. Let's talk about the extras first. Chad Gable, or excuse me, El Grande Americano dethroned Dragon Lee as Speed Champion on Cinco de Mayo.
Jesus.
Why? What is the why? What the hell is the point of this?
I don't know. I don't know.
Hulk Hogan complimented Shelton Benjamin on a podcast. Shelton basically told him on Twitter, he's like, I remember you, motherfucker. Fuck you.
And he called him
And
Benjamin Shelton.
yeah, good on you, Shelton Benjamin. Tell that guy to go to hell. Big E got engaged. Congratulations, man.
Congrats.
I can't think of Big E without seeing the 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 clip of him being like, "Big meaty man slapping me" every time. It may be the funniest clip on WWE social media. AJ's Twitter got hacked.
Yeah, apparently somebody bought his SIM card from his old phone.
Yeah, I saw him. I saw a tweet from him while I was at at the Metallica concert, and it's like some of y'all are gonna be really upset when y'all realize it's actually me. And I go on the tweet, and the first thing I see is the N word. I'm like, uh, um, hello. Thankfully, it was not Granddad AJ.
Yeah.
Um, WWE's apparently interested in working with Ronda Rousey again.
Where did you hear that?
I don't remember. I was on Twitter, which could just mean nothing at all. But I feel like it was from like maybe What Culture. Let's see. Ronda Rousey, WWE. That's not it. I don't remember where I saw this, but I definitely saw this. I don't know. I can't find it, but just trust me. I saw it from something that was reputable. I also saw Tony Storm's "I'm Here and I'm Queer" promo. Did you see any of that?
I did not.
Okay, well, she's like, yeah, I'm here, I'm queer, which is a very good thing. We need that in wrestling, especially in light of some of these releases and how WWE's last couple of releases seem to have majority let go of people in the uh, queer community. It's just it's good to see a, a wrestler in a company that's not afraid to. I don't want to call it be woke, but like, yeah, be woke. It's not a bad thing to be inclusive and welcoming. Okay, that does it for our um, main show, I guess. Now we're gonna talk backlash predictions. All
Yeah,
right,
we'll
Brendan.
make this very quickly. We'll just go match by match.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give you the match. You tell me your winner and why.
Okay.
Let's do the Gunther versus Pat McAfee.
Gunther wins. Squash match. Right pad off TV. Possibly. Gunther appears after the match.
Gunther appears after the match.
Yes, not during the match.
Gunther. I don't think you meant to say Gunther appears.
Oh, sorry. Goldberg appears after the match. Sorry.
Yeah. Um, I agree. Gunther's gonna win. I don't think it's gonna be a squash match. I think it's gonna be a 10-minute thing where Pat has the upper hand at one point, but then Gunther just destroys him. So Gunther versus Pat McAfee. Give me Big Gunt. Next up, we have the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Lyra Valkyria versus Becky Lynch.
Becky wins. Lyra wins it back at SummerSlam. Gives us our first good women's IC title feud.
I agree. Yeah. I don't know about Lyra winning it back at SummerSlam, but
Somewhere.
Becky's gonna. I don't know how long Becky would have this title, but I think she's gonna do with it what she did with the NXT title. She's gonna defend it. She's gonna give people opportunities to showcase themselves on TV. At least I'm hoping. Hoping that's what we'll see. So we're on the same page for these. Fatal four way for the men's United States Championship. Jacob Fatu versus LA Knight versus Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre.
Jacob Fatu wins, establishes himself as a top name, beating some of these top guys. Um, yeah, Jacob wins.
Who eats the pin?
Hmm, I don't know. Priest, maybe?
That's what I was thinking too. Priest or Knight. You can't have Drew eat the pin here. Can't do it. I think Jacob's gonna win too. We're agreeing on all these. Uh Now for the men's Intercontinental Championship, is this the first pay-per-view where both Intercontinental Championships have been defended?
I believe so. I don't think the IC title's been defended on a PLE.
Not the women's IC title at least.
Yeah.
Uh yeah, Penta versus Dom. Thoughts?
I think Dom is going to win.
I do too, but I feel like we're gonna see some interference from another luchador. Another familiar luchador, perhaps. And then the whole Magilla. Randy Orton versus John Cena. Live from St. Louis. One last time.
I think John wins.
Yeah, I do too. You're not gonna have him drop the title in May.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we pretty much agree on everything for
Yeah.
this card. I think we do agree on everything. So let's just recap our picks one more time. Gunther versus Pat McAfee, we both have Gunther. Becky versus Lyra, we both have Becky. Fatal 4-Way for the U.S. Championship, we both have Jacob. Penta versus Dom, we both have Dom. John versus Randy, we both have John. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's accurate.
All right, Brendan. Take us out.
Thank you for watching the No Stipulations podcast, ladies and gentlemen. If you liked it, give us a subscribe, like, comment, share it with your friends, and we will see you next time on the No Stipulations podcast.
Bye.